We're going to change the carburetor on a Onan Microlight 2800, and I changed it, put a Chinese one in, and it has just never been right. The tube on it, the pickup tube on it, just fell out into the bottom of the bowl when I took it apart. I bought a second one, and it was the same thing. So what we're going to do, there's a way to cheat here, because this is fixed, and the engine's fixed. So you're supposed to pull them out, separate the generator from the motor, which just isn't going to happen. So I'm going to pull these two bolts out, these two 10 millimeter head, 6 millimeter bolts, unhook the fuel line. Then I'm going to take the intake manifold out with the carburetor. I'm going to unhook the choke linkage and then the throttle linkage. The choke is the one on the left, the throttle linkage is the one on the right. And you can see I wrecked the foam last time, so I tried to put some hoser on there. We're going to do a better job of that this time as well. Before you get all crazy and tear the foam up on this end piece like I did, get the bolts loose, rotate the carburetor out just a little bit, and you'll be able to get at these socket head cap screws that hold the carburetor onto the manifold. So I'm going to reach one through this hole right there, and I'm going to grab the other one from the outside right there. You can see at this point I got the bolt pulled through there. This one's loose, and all this stuff's loose. So what I'm going to do is pull this off, take the gold piece out here on the end, the gold tin adapter, and then I'm going to unhook the linkage on the carburetor. If anybody's looking for a picture of the linkage, the choke has the bent arm with no spring. This one has a small spring, that's a throttle. All that does is take the slack out of it. So I tore the rubber on this thing, so I cut some out of a 3M adhesive back stuff. That should be good enough for that. And I finally broke down, spent the extra money on the genuine Onan carburetor. This thing is, between $170 and $210 depending on where you buy it, and it's 2020. But I just haven't. I've been through two of the Chinese ones and haven't had any luck. Here we got the choke linkage and the throttle linkage hooked back up. Make sure you put the spring on the throttle. Next, I'm going to set the manifold in. Then the spacer in between it. And I'm going to slide the lip in. I only have two hands and I can't hold the camera, so I'll give this a shot. Okay, it's very tight, but it is possible. I carefully started the bolts through here, and then I had to take this little screw out that holds the fan shroud on, just so I could rotate the manifold just about 15 degrees, so I can get the bolt, one on the outside, one on the inside here, get the block in between the two with the gaskets, and now I'm going to slide the whole thing into place and see how the linkage lines up. It already looks better in that the once you get it tightened up, the the choke plate closes all the way. None of the Chinese ones did. It all looked right. It just didn't work. I also put a fuel shutoff in line and changed the filter out while I was in here, because I want to be able to run it out of gas so I don't have this trouble again.